Hello friends, welcome back to another episode of Magic Monday. We're almost at 50 episodes, very exciting. Today we're looking at an old deck that I dug up called Copy of a Copy with Orvar the All-Form. 4 mana for a 3/3 changeling. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, if it targets one or more other permanents you control, create a token that's a copy of one of those permanents. When a spell or ability an opponent doesn't matter, he's a commander, so that doesn't matter. Anyway, copy of a copy. Let's go. We've got an average mana cost of 3.3 with 15 creatures, 45 non-creatures. As you can see, it is a blue deck. No real dominant type, maybe wizard, I guess. 18 instants, 11 sorceries, 9 artifacts, including a jellyfish, 10 enchantments, and 39 lands. So a little bit light on the lands, but not too bad. So, Orvar's ability. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, if it targets one or more other permanents you control, create a token that's a copy. So it's other permanents, so you don't do this on Orvar, but let's take a look. So what do we have for instants and sorceries? We have really simple stuff. We have Dive Down. Target creature you control gains 0/3 and gains hexproof until end of turn. Target creature gets 1/1 and flying until end of turn. Shell Shield. Target creature gets 0/3 until end of turn. You could pay extra to give it hexproof. Shore Up gets 1/1 and hexproof. What else we got? But you see the Serpentine Ambush. Target creature becomes a blue serpent with base power and toughness 5/5. Starting the development, same thing, but 4/4. So, the idea here is we are casting spells at our creatures and making copies of them. So what are our creatures? Let's go back here. Well, I guess before we go back, before we look at creatures, let's look at the control because it's a blue deck. Bubble Snare, tap stuff, don't let it ever untap. Unsummon, just to be annoying. Stern Dismissal, same thing. Witness Protection, same thing. Frogify, same thing. Kasmina's Transmutation, same thing. Lots of control here, lots of annoyance. Essence Capture is a counter spell. Sorry, I just got a text. You probably heard it go buzz, buzz. Counterspell here, counterspell here. We have a couple of other ones mixed in, like Tail's End right there. We've got Saw It Coming right here. We got removal with Raven Form. Of course, we have a couple of mana rocks like Heraldic Banner. Since we're a mono blue deck, we just give them a little bit of a bump and also get a blue mana from it. Relic of Legends, Replicating Ring, Arcane Signet, Cold Steel Heart. Blah, 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 blah. This is all boring. Let's get on to the main point, which is we make copies. Things like Surge Engine, so we could have a whole bunch of 5/4 unblockable creatures if we so choose. Thassa's Oracle helps us stack the deck. We just cast one of those things like Startling Development on this, we get another Thassa's Oracle. And when it enters the battlefield, look at the top X cards of your library, where X is your devotion to blue, put one on top and the rest on the bottom of your library. So it helps us stack the deck. Reality Chip, here's our equipment jellyfish, but it lets us attach this to one of our creatures, and then we can play lands and cast spells from the top of our library, so we can further sort of stack the deck. This guy, kind of stupid, but also very versatile. So when he enters the battlefield, either make a 1/1 white bird creature token with flying, return another target non-land permanent to its owner's hand, or draw a card. We make copies of him, and copies of him, and copies of him. We can control the board, we can draw cards, we can do all sorts of stuff. Oracle of the Alpha, shuffle a copy of the Power 9 into your library. And whenever he attacks, scry 1. So we can make copies of this guy over and over again, and we could load up our deck with the Power 9. What's the Power 9? If you don't know, why are you watching this video? Go watch a video on the Power 9 and then come back. Divination for some card draw. I like Divination. I really like the Dominaria set. I had a lot of fun with that one, so that's why it's in here. Mirror Box. Legend rule doesn't apply to permanents you control. Each legendary creature you control gets +1/1. Each non-token creature you control gets 1/1 for each other creature you control with the same name as that creature. That's a lot of words just to say the legend rule doesn't apply, meaning we could get multiple copies of Orvar the All-Form, and then it goes haywire. But that's really the only reason it's in here. It's just a fun circumstantial card. Archmage Emeritus. Whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery spell, draw a card. That's pretty nice in a deck like this. Dungeon Geists. This is a fun one to target to make copies of. tap target creature and opponent controls. It doesn't untap during its controller's untap step for as long as you control Dungeon Geists. I have played games with this deck where I might have 4 Dungeon Geists out that just taps down their board. And then we've got some things like Irenicus's Vial Duplication. For 4 mana, create a token that's a copy of target creature you control, except it has flying and isn't legendary. So, what does this mean? Well, it means we can cast this on Orvar to get a second Orvar. Or, if need be, we can cast it on something like Undercover Operative. And when we do, we get a second Undercover Operative, and because of Orvar, we get a third Undercover Operative. You can see how this spirals out of control. There's another counterspell here for some control. Sleep is just a horrible card to face. Tap all creatures target player controls. Those creatures don't untap during their next, the controller's next untap step. It's really annoying to face. So that's, of course, it's in here. It's a blue deck. Spark Double. Make a copy of a creature you control, except it isn't legendary. Which, again, we can make another Orvar. Thassa Deep Dwelling. At the beginning of your end step, exile up to 1 other target creature you control and return it to the battlefield under your control. So there's a lot of cards in this deck where it's when it enters the battlefield under your control, X happens. So that's why Thassa's here. This is fun. Whenever you cast a spell that targets only a single artifact or creature you control, create a token that's a copy of it, except it's not legendary. So this basically is just another Orvar, but in enchantment form. It can get really silly. Cavalier of Gales, draw 3 cards, put 2 back from your hand on top of your library in any order. We can make a whole bunch of these and stack our deck, literally stack our deck. Invoke the Winds, gain control of target artifact or creature, untap it, then we can make copies of it if we want. Mind Flayer, gain control of target creature as long as you control Mind Flayer. That's a good card to make multiple copies of. Sludge Monster. Whenever it enters the battlefield or attacks, put a slime counter on up to 1 other target creature. Non-horror creatures with slime counters lose all abilities and have base power and toughness 2/2. This is really nice with Thassa as well. Wandering Archaic. Whenever an opponent casts an instant or sorcery spell, they may pay 2. If they don't, you can copy that spell and choose new targets for the copy. So if I'm playing against someone who's playing a similar deck, but they don't have the mana to pay 2, I can target my stuff and make more copies, including of this card, which is fun. Discover the formula, seek 3 non-land cards, then non-land cards in your hand perpetually gain cost 1 less to cast. Fun. In Bolus's Clutches, enchant permanent, you control enchanted permanent. River's Rebuke, y'all know what that is. Self-reflection, we can make a copy of target creature we control. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, make a flying shark token. Thanks Sharknado for inspiring that one. Signature Spells. When it enters the battlefield, seek 2 instant and or sorcery cards with mana value 3 and exile them. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may copy a card exiled with Signature Spells and cast it without paying its mana cost. And you can do that every single turn. So what do we have that costs 3? Well, let's go back and take a look. We've got Saw It Coming, not ideal. Raven Form, pretty nice to be able to cast this every turn for free. Divination, draw 2 cards. So it's very limited. Oh, and Expanded Anatomy. Put 2 1/1 counters on target creature. It gains vigilance until end of turn. So we could do this every turn for free and make a copy right off the bat at the start of every single turn. Where were we? Kyra bests the Sea God, so we can get a Kraken and gain control of something and just be otherwise annoying. Ancient Silver Dragon, ridiculous card. Super expensive to get out, but it's really fun. Magic Mirror, no maximum hand size, draw a bunch of cards. Entrancing Melody, gain control of target creature. Mass Manipulation, gain control of X target creatures and or planeswalkers. Kind of silly. You could put like Hullbreaker Horror in here, stuff like that. Gets really annoying. I took it out because it's not even fun because Hullbreaker Horror is just such an annoying card. But you could totally put Hullbreaker Horror in here and cause even more chaos. But I thought this was plenty of chaos, honestly, as you'll see in the games, which have already been played. Speaking of, the last game in this video is an absolute epic battle. I always speed up the games to 1.4x speed just to keep them moving along. but it was an 11-minute game. It was super fun. You'll definitely not want to miss that one. So thank you all so much for watching this video. It's YouTube. You know what to do on YouTube videos that you like. Or for creators such as variety streamers like myself, variety creators that are making content every single day for you lovely people to enjoy, you know what to do. And as always, be kind to yourselves, be kind to each other, and let's get to some games.